Well, good evening everybody, it's Zero back at you again with another History Buff Reacts video, and today we are taking a look at the creative weapons of the medieval era. But first, I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing and watching and liking the videos, because recently we went over 1,000 subscribers, which is slightly shocking. I was quite surprised when we got to 500. We've kept going. Got to 1,000 subscribers. I think I checked last night or earlier today, and I got 1,200 subscribers, and still going up. It's just, yeah, the channel's growing. The channel's growing, and it's surprised me a little bit, honestly. But there you go. But I want to thank every single one of you for it. As I recently said in a community post, I did have ads on for a little bit. They have now all been turned off. There will no longer be ads running on this channel. If there are ads running, there won't be my ads. There will be Content ID ads. That's the one. Usually from Oversimplified, because he has Content ID on his videos. It's fine. It's content. I'm not too bothered. But if you do want to support the channel in any way whatsoever, if you check down here, no you won't, you'll check down here. Down in this part of the display, you will see the little join button, which has a couple of different perks on it and a couple of different levels. Don't feel like you have to at all, but it would just be nice if you did. But don't feel like you have to be obligated to do it. Also, there's going to be more different content coming to the channel. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet, but yeah, so I think I've said that a couple of times now. But this time I mean it. This time I mean it. The alter ego will be making his appearance a few times as well, which hopefully should pique a few people's interests, because I haven't brought the alter ego out on my YouTube maybe more than once or twice. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. But you're not here to listen to me ramble about my channel. You're here to watch you react and review a Salmonella video. So let's jump over. Let's go.
Hey kids,
Hi,
when
Sam.
most people think of the Middle Ages, they think of them as being like humanity's dumb teenage years, where all we did was play harpsichord in our room and burn heretics with our friends. But that's not entirely true. In fact, I would argue that the medieval era saw just as much genius as any other period in time. It's just most of that genius went towards finding new and creative ways to brutally slaughter those you disagree with. Here's a few highlights. First, we'll talk about the werewolf. So, as you can imagine, medieval castles were not easy to break into. They were basically like those jungle gym things at Chuck E. Cheese's. Massive in size, intentionally confusing layout, security everywhere, and by the end of your visit, you'd probably end up with some kind of disease. So in order to help penetrate fortresses, medieval armies would often utilize siege weapons, one of the most popular of which was the trebuchet. Now this device is interesting enough on its own, but it gets better. So around 1300 AD...
If you don't know how a trebuchet works, it's essentially a heavy weight. You see that big, like, sort of like chunky thing at the front of it? That's basically a counterweight for the big arm. So essentially it would be pulled down, be locked into position, they'd load it, and then when they released it, that weight would then sort of go like that. Not going in that way motion, while the arm literally just goes whoomp. Like that. That's how a trebuchet. That's the basics of a trebuchet.
King Edward I of England was in the process of invading Scotland. However, one fortress known as Stirling Castle was giving him a lot of trouble. He laid siege to the building for many months without any real progress. Then one day he woke up and had a revelation. Hey guys, listen, why are we wasting our time building all these regular sized trebuchets when we could just build one giant one and call it a day? So that's what he did. This gargantuan war machine was known as the Werewolf and stood at around 6 stories tall. To give a bit of perspective, this is about as tall as King Kong was in his largest film depiction. So basically, picture a giant fucking ape launching boulders like they're baseballs, and you've got a pretty good idea of what the werewolf was capable of. It was so intimidating that when the Scots saw the English constructing the beast outside the castle, they immediately surrendered out of fear. But then Edward was like, ha, fuck that, I'm gonna test this bad boy out, and proceeded to take pot shots on the castle anyway. Another devious product...
yeah, the siege of Stirling Castle was quite long-winded, even from medieval era siege. Bearing in mind it was only I don't think Stirling Castle's that big either. It just held out for ages. The defenders, the Scottish defenders, were just like, nah, we're not giving you this castle. Not a chance. What's that you're building over there? We surrender. That's what I'm getting from this.
To the Middle Ages was a flammable substance known as Greek fire. Contrary to popular belief, Greek fire was not invented by the ancient Greeks.
I was corrected in this in another video which I did from infographics, and this is the sole reason why I don't do infographics videos anymore. The Greek fire weapon was not used by Greeks. Oh, rather, may have been used by Greeks, but it was not invented by Greeks. And we still don't know what it's actually made of. Genuinely, we have no idea what it's made of. There's no records of the time telling us what it's made of. There's some people think it may be some sort of quicklime, which is essentially a flammable substance that doesn't go out. Maybe it's an early form of napalm. Not sure. Nobody knows.
Rick Riordan, you lying prick. It was actually invented in the 7th century AD by the Byzantines, who happened to inhabit Greece at the time.
Okay,
Historians still don't know exactly what it was made of, but they do know that it acted a lot like napalm, sticking to ships, sticking to people, even floating and continuing to burn on the surface of the water.
Yeah.
The Byzantines also had these siphon-like tubes that they'd put on the front of their boats to pour Greek fire on the enemy, kind of like makeshift flamethrowers.
Yeah.
These were retired pretty quickly, though, mostly because when you put the words makeshift and flamethrower next to each other, you're bound to run into some problems eventually. Our next bright idea comes from a...
Yeah. Makeshift flamethrower. Yeah, probably not the best. Probably not the best combination of words we're putting together. Imagine, especially in those times, we've had almost no defense against it either. Just like, oh, oh dear. Oh, everything's on fire. We can't put it out. We don't know how to put it out. It's sticking to the water. What do we do?
A woman known as Olga of Kiev. So Olga was a princess who ruled the area around the capital of modern-day Ukraine from 945 to 963 AD. And she had quite a track record for being just a total badass. For example, the Drevlians, a tribe of people under Kiev's control, once sent 20 men to Kiev in order to convince Olga to marry their prince, under the pretense that if they did marry, the prince could claim her rule over Kiev. In response, she had all 20 of them buried alive. She then sent a letter to the prince saying she accepted his proposal, but she would need a bunch of his most distinguished governors to escort her on the journey. Once the men showed up, Olga was like, "Hey guys, long journey, huh? How'd you like to take a bath in this here bathhouse?" They were like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great." "Okay, have fun, you guys." Man, it's like a sauna in here. It is a sauna, dipshit. You have a point. So long story short, this lady just did not give a heck. My favorite story about her starts with her besieging a Drevlian city that refused to pay tribute to her. The people in the city were already well aware of the type of rampaging that Olga was capable of, so they were already scared shitless. But when she showed up, she was like, "Alright, you know what guys, I'm gonna play nice. Just bring me 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each household and I'll be on my way." Okay. What are they for exactly? We're just hungry. I mean, we got some food, too. We could just give... I'm sorry, did I fucking stutter? Alright, birds it is. Then, once the creatures were in Olga's hands, she had each of her soldiers tie a cloth-bound piece of sulfur to one of the birds' feet, which was then set alight. The birds were then released all at once, and when they flew back into the city, their nests acted like little piles of tinder, resulting in nearly every house in the entire city erupting in flames simultaneously. And while the whole place burned to the ground, Olga just sat and watched. By the way, it's worth mentioning that, after her death, Olga was canonized as a Catholic saint, presumably around the same time as Saint Tiffany, who went around pushing in the soft spots of babies, and Saint Jerry the Goat Fucker, who, as the name implies, fucked a lot of goats. In conclusion, pay your taxes. To my loyal subscribers, I'll see you in 3 months. I'm Sam Minella, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, okay, so creative weapons. We've got the giant trebuchet, we've got ancient napalm, and bird bombs. Essentially is what that is. Oh god, that bird bomb one's nasty though, holy crap. Imagine that though. Imagine being in your house, right? you hear a bird land, and all of a sudden everything's just on fire. Jesus Christ. That's going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and also leave a comment and even share it. As it turns out, the YouTube bot doesn't like small creators, so anything you can do to help us be smashing. But if you did enjoy that and you want to see more, check out over here. You'll see the most recent video apart from this one up here, and down below that you'll see HBuffReacts playlist. I've been Zero. This has been HBuffReacts to create weapons of the medieval era, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.